There are troubled times ahead for the global economy. In its latest forecast, the Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development is predicting slower growth in the year ahead, with only slight recovery in 2024. The West will be particularly affected. GDP in the euro area and growth in the US are expected to decline to 0.5%. The global outlook is set at 2.2%, and GDP is predicted to rebound to a modest 1.4% in Europe by 2024. The OECD says Russia's war in Ukraine is the single biggest factor in the slowdown.
The world is facing substantial headwinds and substantial risks over the horizon. In this challenging environment, we need to confront the crisis with well-designed policy responses as well as with international cooperation in order to overcome this difficult situation and pave the way for a better future.
Soaring high inflation is dragging on economies around the world. Its effect will only weaken slightly. In the euro area, inflation next year is expected to drop to 6.8% from this year's high. However, the incremental drop in prices in the US may continue, with inflation falling to 3.5%.
Inflationary pressures have really intensified and became a lot more pervasive. And you can see that in many countries of the world, you have more than 50, 60, 70% of all goods and services of their economies that right now are growing more than 6% a year. So inflation has become more entrenched and intensified, but also more broad-based.
Central banks are expected to maintain high interest rates to combat inflation, which is largely fueled by soaring energy costs caused by President Putin's war. As far as the OECD is concerned, economies will remain vulnerable to further shocks and even a deepening energy crisis.